Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. This is one that I've been pretty excited about making for you guys since I saw the new film Ford vs. Ferrari, directed by James Mangold, starring Matt Damon as Carroll Shelby and Christian Bale as Ken Miles. The story takes place in the 1960s, where Ford attempts to buy Ferrari, who had won 5 of the last 6 24 Hours of Le Mans races. After Ferrari essentially tells them to piss off, Henry Ford II takes vengeance and contracts Carroll Shelby to build this magnificent automobile, the Ford GT40. Today I'll be taking the Ford GT40 to the 1967 Le Grand Circuit, where they held the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This is a wonderfully modeled version of vintage Le Mans, and I'll put a link in the description down below so you guys can all check it out. So I've already seen the movie 3 times. If you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend it. It's an incredible film, both for the racing enthusiast as well as people that aren't too familiar with the sport. So let's jump in and take a few laps around the 1967 Le Grand Circuit. So here we are on the grid of the 1967 Le Grand Circuit. So I am in the Ford GT40. The red cars that you see are mostly Ferrari 330 P4s, which is actually the version after the one that appears in the movie. The one in the movie was the P3. The other car that you see is the Porsche 908 LH, which actually made its debut in 1968, whereas the movie takes place in 1966. As I said, this is just an absolutely amazing model of the 1967 vintage Le Mans track. So one thing about the Ford GT40 versus the Ferraris and the Porsches that I'm racing with here is the Ferraris and the Porsches are much lighter than this GT40 is, but they just can't reach the speeds on the straightaways that the GT40 can. So you'll see throughout the video how much faster these other cars are in the corners, but I'm able to really stretch the GT40's legs on the straightaways and just have a lot more speed to get by them. So Assetto Corsa is one of my favorite sims to do any sort of road racing on. I think they have some of the best selection of cars, and their physics model is just something that I think a lot of sims don't have, which is just a really awesome connection to the car. So I have plenty of experience with this sim. I've been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and I hope to have more Assetto Corsa videos out on the channel sometime in the near future. So as you can see, the AI can be a bit messy in certain areas of the track. They definitely have their weak spots. Once they get strung out, they're not too bad, but definitely the first lap is always tricky with them. So one of the biggest things that Shelby America did in the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans is they actually changed the entire braking system, which if you drive this car in the sim, you can definitely tell why, because this car does not like to stop. It just makes you realize how much the engineering in the cars have come since the 60s and 70s. It may be a handful, but this car is just really fun to try. If you get the opportunity, or if you have a Assetto Corsa and haven't tried it, I definitely recommend it. And as I said, I'll have a link to the 1967 Legrand circuit in the description down below. It's a free mod on Race Department. See, the braking distances in this car are just so long. You really have to be careful on exactly where you need to start slowing down. But there's just absolutely no stopping this thing in a straight line. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any night footage for this video. I wanted to, but I didn't realize that Assetto Corsa actually doesn't do that without a mod. And this mall sand corner right here is probably one of the heaviest braking zones that I've ever experienced in a sim. Especially in this car, just such a long braking distance. And it's just crazy to me to think about how this wasn't even really a track in the 60s and 70s, how it was really just roads going through the countryside. It's just crazy that people raced here. And I just about loop it right there. Sun glare right there is pretty bad, and you'll see me. I struggle with that every lap in this race, it seems like. All it takes is just one tire off in the grass a little bit and you're almost spun out backwards. So I started dead last in this race, which was 36th, and it looks like I'm all the way up to somewhere in the top 5. So one thing about doing stuff like this compared to my real racing is far different from this. I race 600cc dirt micro sprint cars, but I've been racing sims for, I don't know, almost 10 years now. But I just find that racing so many different types of cars in the sim really makes a driver think about what they need to do differently in different situations, driving different cars or different power bands and heavier, lighter cars, or different situations like that. It just makes a driver think and kind of apply that thinking to the real world. I definitely don't think I would be the driver that I am today without racing on the simulator for the past 10 years and experiencing so many different types of cars. So it looks like I'm all the way up to third now. See, this is just crazy right here. I mean, you're off the track and you're just into the woods at 150, 200 miles an hour, something like that. And these cars were definitely a handful. Yep, almost gave it away right there again. So that's another little weak spot of the AI, is those S curves right back there. You can see how much I closed on this guy right there, because they don't get probably a good enough run off of those S curves as they should. I think there's some time there that I could have made up. By the end of this race, I was getting quite a bit more comfortable with the car. So this is actually for first place right in front of us. So I'll just keep my mouth shut for the rest of this lap and let you guys watch. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me take the GT40 for a few laps around the Le Mans circuit. I was pretty surprised that I actually ended up making it all the way to the front after starting dead last. I believe I had the AI set to 95 or 96%, somewhere around there. I probably could have turned it up just a smidge, but I still had to work for it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. As always, I have to give a big thank you to my parents, Joe, Anna, Nathan Benson Motorsports, DDI Fabrication, Sure-Built Suspensions, and Schoenfeld Headers for all they do to help us out with our real-world racing. There's a link in my description to Nathan's website for any micro sprint related stuff you might need. If you guys have any suggestions for me for something I should do different or future videos you might like to see, let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for future uploads. I hope to have more sim racing stuff coming in the next few months now that we're kind of in the middle of winter. I've gotten through all of my footage from this last racing season, although we will be going to the Tulsa Shootout here at the first of the year, so I'll have some footage from that as well. But be on the lookout for more sim racing stuff coming soon, as well as the Tulsa Shootout footage that I have coming soon as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.
This conversation